Today's episode is all about how to surf bigger waves, even big waves. Welcome back or welcome to the Surf Mastery Podcast, the podcast that helps passionate lifelong surfers to catch more waves, surf with more speed, style, grace, and to gain wisdom and confidence in the water. I am your host, Michael Frampton, and in today's episode, we're going to learn all about how to surf bigger waves. But let me tell you about how I recovered from a cleanup set in a 4.5 meter swell at an outer reef. Ever since I started surfing, I'd always been drawn to bigger waves, but it was never really a reality sort of growing up as a self-taught surfer in the part of New Zealand where I was. But then, of course, I find myself living on the east coast of Australia, and there was an outer reef that I'd seen break. And a friend of mine, my surf coach, my mentor, regularly surfed it. And I decided I wanted to surf it. So he thankfully guided me through the process of preparing for that. And I remember, when, after 6 months of prep, leading up to these winter swells coming through, and I got the text saying, "You're ready, it's on, see you out there." And I managed to get through the shore break, and just as I was getting to the takeoff zone, to the lineup, a massive rogue set came through. The horizon started to go dark. Everyone scrambled and paddled, and about 5 massive triple overhead waves came through. Thankfully, they broke a bit further out than us, because I can't imagine getting a lip of one of those on the head. But these huge, I just remember just massive walls of whitewater just steamrolling through, dragging everyone hundreds of meters in, underwater for a long time, just being ripped apart by when waves are that big that literally the water is trying to rip your limbs off. But I managed to come up and recover from that and paddle out the back, do some breathing, regain some calmness. And I remember the first wave I paddled into, under-paddled a little bit, got caught up in the lip, threw me 3/4 of the way down the face, landed, felt like concrete when you're landing at that speed. Instant saltwater enema through the wetsuit. Never clenched so hard in my life. Managed to recover from that as well and paddled back out, and then got 3 of the biggest waves I'd ever surfed in my life. And what an experience. Gosh, and a new appreciation was gained for those that regularly surf waves like that, and of course a lot bigger. So let me take you through the steps that led me to that day. First of all, I was a pretty experienced surfer. I'd regularly surfed, double overhead waves, so I wasn't a stranger to decent sized waves. And I had a mentor who guided me through it. And these are the steps that I took. So step number 1 was to get a big wave gun. So you need the right equipment for the types of waves that you're going to surf. And then I surfed that board a lot in all conditions. Small waves, onshore waves, all conditions. Just really got familiar with that piece of equipment. So that was step 1. Step 2, went to a breath hold course. It was run by Nam Baldwin. And we covered 2 things. There was underwater prep for surfing big waves specifically, but also breathing techniques for managing your anxiety and managing your stress levels. And then got to practice those learnings with a group. So there was 6 months of breath hold training and nervous system management training that went into the preparation for that day. There was a lot of strength training, a lot of gym work, keeping strong, fit, agile, as well as a lot of surfing. So I was very surf fit, paddle fit. Step number 4 was understanding the surf break itself. It wasn't the kind of break that broke in small waves, But there were a few swells where it kind of broke a little bit, so I got to surf it, and also did some diving got some fins and a mask, and went out there and looked underneath, see what's under there. So really understanding the break, that was another important step. There was a lot of preparation and planning. There was a lot of discussion with surfers that had surfed that break, like where do they paddle out? What do they do if their leash breaks? And of course I understood my limits. I wasn't doing this alone. So be patient. Surfing is a long game, and preparing to surf bigger waves doesn't necessarily mean that you have to surf the next time that it's big. Trust your instincts. So know your limits. A good rule of thumb here is if you're not comfortable swimming the conditions, definitely don't surf. Even brand new leg ropes can break. If you want to learn more about some of the details about what I talked about in today's episode and others, go to surfmastery.com and check out the Wave Catching Academy, where we go into a lot of details about all this stuff, plus a lot more. There are also free PDFs available at surfmastery.com, as well as blog posts. And of course, there is a back catalogue of the Surf Mastery podcast full of interviews and tips. Please share this episode with a friend if you enjoyed it, and give us a rating and a review. That would be great. Until next time, keep surfing.